Hello and welcome to Master Gardening. I'm your host, Bud Qualk, and today we're at the Sanders Nursery. This is going to be a lot of fun, so stay tuned. I'll be right back. We're here with Crystal Sanders at the Sanders Nursery, Sanders Nursery.
Yes.
On Schneidman Road.
Yes, sir.
What's the address again?
It's 4123 Schneidman Road.
Okay. And this is just wonderful.
Yes.
I just died and gone to heaven looking at all these plants and what have you. Yeah. Now let's talk about the history for a minute.
Okay.
Your grandfather, great-grandfather,
My grandfather.
Grandfather. His name was?
James.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did it all get started? Is this where he came here and this is where he started?
In 1957, he started here.
Was there something before that?
Previously, he had been with his brothers downtown and had done a nursery with them.
And what was that called?
Sanders Brothers.
Oh, Sanders Brothers. Okay, so the Sanders Brothers were downtown.
Yes.
That sounds like a pretty good location, but pretty expensive, right?
I guess, evidently, my grandfather decided to go on his own, and so he came out here in 1957 and started James Sanders Nursery.
Okay. And he built all this is how big it always was?
Oh, no, it was started a very small little building and nothing but dirt all around it. and so then over the years, my father has taken over, and now it's my turn, and we just keep building on a little bit as we can.
Does your dad know it's your turn yet?
Yes, but I've got him busy though. I keep him busy in here for me.
I see. And your mom, Carol.
And Mom, she's out here too, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anybody
yes.
else in the
My
family?
sister, she's a landscape architect, and she's here with us as well.
Okay.
And my brother-in-law, he helps some too.
Okay.
And my husband. So
that's
I mean, it literally is a family business.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And we have some employees that have been here with us for over 20 years. So some key employees.
Now this Schneidman Road out here, and I thought Old Mayfield Road runs parallel here. This used to be really a big part of town coming out through here back in those days.
Right.
Yeah.
And yes, no, we're not on the prime roads or anything like that, but our name, and we've been here for almost 60 years now. Next year will be 60 years. People still come out here in the spring. They know right where we're at.
Yes, you've done very well.
And it's not just people in town. I mean, it's people from the surrounding area too. They seek us out.
Yeah, and you do more than just the nursery too. I think I've gone along, seen James Sanders mowers along the highways and stuff like that.
Right. We used to do the right-of-way mowing, and we do landscaping, of course, and then we do a lot of state work. We do a lot of fencing and seeding and what have you. So.
Now my boss for a funeral.
Yes.
She bought a tree, and you guys came and planted it in my yard.
Yep. All I had to do was call you and just find out
where
you wanted it. Yes.
Yeah, that's really neat. So if you got something, instead of buying roses or something like that and putting them in a vase and throwing them away next week, you got that tree. That tree is already 15 feet tall.
Yes. And more people are doing that now. They're calling us and say, can we send something to the funeral home? Unfortunately, on most cases we can't, because the funeral homes have stipulations on size and the weight of the material. And usually when you're talking about a tree, it's just easier for us just to take it out to you. And usually if it's here in town, if they just want us to deliver it, we'll just deliver it. We're not going to charge. Yeah. And if they want us to plant it, great. We'll plant it for them, So.
Yeah. Oh, and do shrubs like that too?
Oh, yes, anything. Yes.
So anything.
Trees and shrubs, anything they want.
That sounds like a great present. You try to figure out what can you give this person, and you don't know them. You can't give them clothes. Hard to pick a present for somebody. But if you do that,
but see, you're such a garden person, so it was easy. She knew what she wanted to do for you.
Well, we're both garden people.
But
master gardeners.
It's something that'll keep growing, not something that will die in a couple of weeks.
So what time of the year do you start all this?
The first part of February. The first week of February, typically we'll start heating this greenhouse, and we'll get seeds started, like our peppers and maybe some of our herbs, because it takes peppers so long to get going. And then we start getting plants in little plugs, and we start growing everything.
What do they call those plug sheets or something?
Yeah, plug trays.
Plug trays. Okay. Yeah, you buy the whole tray. There's like 1,000. Well, maybe not
it just depends. Some will come packed just 280. Some will be 500, and they're different sizes.
We'll look at some of those in a little bit.
Yes.
And they're really neat. You punch them out from the back.
Well, typically it's easier that way, so you don't tear the roots up because
So you
they
throw
tend
'em
to
on a
get
bucket and
rooted. And then we go at it.
Yeah, we'll see some of that in a little bit too. But these plants came in, these flower plants came in plug trays, is what
Right,
you're saying.
yes.
But we'll see some other things up here where you planted
Where
from
we've
seeds.
started them from seed.
Are we going to be able to see some seeds starting today maybe? Is it
Yeah,
too late for that?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, good,
we could
good.
show you a couple of things.
Yeah, and I think Larry is going to show us how to, or going to demonstrate his baskets. Yeah, I see him
Yes.
over there now putting
Yes.
baskets up now. He's kind of the king of the baskets.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're now trying to make room for more plugs and stuff that we've got to plant, so we've got to hang our baskets up.
And I see you have a couple baskets already.
A couple of different, we have several, and different sizes, so we'll have different price
Yeah.
points, and yes.
I saw the big ones a while ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And I bought, 6 of them last year, and the whole neighborhood couldn't get over it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have a big wraparound porch, and I had them all hanging all the way up there.
Yes.
They started out, the pots are up here, this high. They were on the
By the time
floor.
everything-
The vines and stuff were
Yeah.
all down to the floor.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, watering those things, I had to water them twice a day.
Well, it
Yeah.
gets to that point,
I should have trimmed them off a little bit,
especially once you start getting about the middle of the summer towards the end, and the heat kicks up too, you really
Yeah.
have to keep the water to them.
Yeah.
And of course, their root systems get bigger. You have to.
Yeah. Well, what I ended up doing, finally, I had to. I cut them off,
Yeah.
and they were just as good that way. I liked them that way, and they used less water that way, too.
Usually, if you can stand to about 6 weeks into it or so,
Close your
you
eyes
need to. Yes, you need to trim them a little. It just makes them prettier and fuller.
Or you can make some cuttings.
is.
I'll tell you what, I took
Oh,
all
yes,
those,
you can.
and I threw them in my compost bin,
Yep.
and guess what? They didn't die.
Yeah,
They,
we didn't
they just
have
kept
that
on
hard
growing all
Yeah.
over. Yeah.
They'll do that.
Some of the stuff's hard to kill.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, let's. I see you have the cats, and those are a good part of your keep the pests down and stuff.
Well,
or
there's
not?
a few cats around here. I've helped with rescue in the past and accumulated a few cats.
I love cats. We have 2 inside, and we feed all the neighborhood's cats outside the strays and what have you.
I've got a big
Yeah.
heart for animals, unfortunately.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and gardeners usually do. Gardeners
Yeah.
are more into the nature and that kind of thing. Okay. Well, I see they're potting up some stuff over
Yes,
here.
yes, we
let's
are.
go over there next.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. This is the potting table.
Yes.
This is a
the
nice potting table. I wish I had this. That's yeah, slick. Okay, we're going to do some potting here. Larry,
Yeah,
okay, show me how to do this.
we fill up the trays with the mix.
Okay, you don't have a microphone on, so Crystal,
What we
you're
do
gonna,
is we'll fill up the trays with the soil and make sure we try to get it as even as possible. And then we've got our fertilizer, which we use a slow release. It's a usually 5 to 6 month type fertilizer, and we'll just kind of evenly put it across.
that looks like a lot, Larry.
We haven't measured out.
Are you just putting a lot on there for the show, or is that how much?
No, we know we need one of
Okay.
these per tray.
Okay.
We've gotten it measured out, and then we'll just try to evenly, as well as we can, distribute it. With this, it's a slow release. It does look like it's a lot, but it's a slow release fertilizer.
Okay.
It's not like a
Gonna last
it's
all
not like
all
a 10
summer?
10 10 that it's just going to feed it, burn it up, and there you go. This is going to work over a slow period of time.
Okay.
And then what he's using here is a product called Marathon, and it's an insecticide. That we
I've
just,
never seen anything like that before.
tell you
it's
what,
Marathon
it's
insecticide. What does insecticide do?
It's made a world of difference keeping like aphids and those little fruit gnats and what it does is it goes through the root system of the plants.
Oh, into the plant.
Right. So then when those pesky little bugs try to eat on the plant material, it will kill them.
Okay, is that a nicotinoid thing? No, nicotine? No?
No.
Good,
No.
good, because those are bad for the bumblebee. Okay, now, what is it? Oh, you got the cell packs over here.
Right. We've got a tray of the red wave petunias, which we've already poked some of them out, but the trick is typically if you go to pull them from the top, you have to be really careful because you'll just pull that whole little plant out and you'll lose everything.
Yeah.
Because you can see how root bound they are.
Yeah, that's great.
So
That's a good
we
root
just
system.
take us a nice little old pencil and we just go through and we pop the bottoms down and pop them loose. That way we can
Yeah.
just pull them right out and not worry about tearing the plants
They're
up.
pretty tough little plants when you
They,
do that.
They are, yes, yes.
You can plant about 3 trays by the time I plant 2 little plants.
Well, you get in a rhythm, I
Yeah.
tell you. You get in a rhythm out here and it doesn't take long at all to get any of it done.
Now this is my tray. No?
Yeah, yeah. But we usually, you know, there'll be 2 or 3 of us out here and we just kind of get an assembly line and we just,
Yeah, and after you've done it a while, you get where you can do it pretty easily.
yes, and
And,
your fingers get a little tired, your little
yeah,
pointer
and with
finger,
it-
using your pointer finger.
And an old man's feet really get tired.
Again, they're tough plants. You don't have to worry about. I had a neighbor that we would be planting plants like this, and it would take her forever to dig a little hole and put it in there
Right.
and pat them around. I could do a whole tray by the time she did a couple, and she always thought I was too rough on them. But
No,
you
no, there
can't.
is some of these plugs that come in that we have to be a lot careful
Gentle.
with. You know, there's some of the, like for instance, some of the New Guinea impatiens, the begonias, we have to be a lot more careful with. But these petunias, they're tough, so we can be a little more rough with them.
Okay, and then watering.
Right.
The next thing I have to do is water.
Right.
And
Once
you water
we
from
get
the bottom
them,
or the top, or
We water from the top.
yep. And then once we get them over there,
water
yeah.
from the top, and because these are pretty good sized plants, but the little smaller ones, I'm always afraid of damp off. Sometimes I run into that, and sometimes I don't. But
we try to.
this potting mix, as I read the label a while ago, it's got stuff in it that kind of prevents the funguses, doesn't it, Crystal?
Yes, it does. It's got a biofungicide in it. It's also got, it does have a little bit of a slow release fertilizer in it as well, and it also has the watering agents.
Watering agents, is that like
Which-
the crystals?
Yes, and you know, it helps with it not being saturated all the time. It helps it dry.
Well, I know the biggest thing I have trouble with, and sometimes I used to have a lot of trouble, I guess because of rainy seasons, is damp off. And
Yes.
I had to plant them up before I really wanted to pot them up, because I guess that's whatever I had them in was not good.
And well, and you have to, I mean, even with this, you still have to watch and make sure you don't overwater,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
very easily can. And then on a cloudy day, you're sitting here and everything's just,
And I always water from the bottom because I'm lazy. I fill the trays up with water and just stick the whole thing in there, and then I won't have to. But water from the top,
from the top.
very nice mist or real soft,
Yes, a real
soft
light mist.
stuff.
I can show you.
Okay. Okay. Now, Larry, you don't have a microphone on, so you're going to have to. But you go ahead and do it, Larry. You're the expert on that.
Yep. This is a 12-inch basket that we're going to pot up. And it already has the holes in it. Yeah.
It has the holes. You got to have the holes.
Well, we're doing different from what we've done in the past. We usually typically have just a green plastic basket. And this year we're doing all of them in with the cocoa moss. And so it comes in with this plastic liner. But if you'll notice, there's holes down in the plastic liner so that the water can come through. But you want to keep that plastic liner in because otherwise the water would just come gushing.
Yes, it will go all the way. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just a nicer look, these baskets are, versus the green plastic.
I bought some here last year, so you did have some like
We
this.
had some bigger ones last year.
I
This
got the
year,
big
though,
ones, yeah.
everything is going to be.
Now I remember, yeah, and I said, I want the green, and I was overruled. No, because those were the really big ones, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You do the same thing with this. You put the,
Yes, we'll put the Marathon in there, which is the insecticide, and then we will put the fertilizer in them.
yeah.
And we've got it measured down. You use 1 scoop.
And I'm sorry, Larry, these guys always only bring two I don't.
He doesn't mind not having to talk, believe me. He just soon just do it.
Okay,
And
and you mix it in.
Yes, we'll mix it in just lightly, like down, just a couple of inches. For a 12-inch basket, we use 3 plants.
Okay.
we'll
And that'll
just-
fill that sucker up.
Yes. It doesn't look like it right now, but it will. It will be packed full.
And these are those waves again. Boy,
Yes,
that was
the
really
red
something when they
waves.
came up with that thing. Yeah, that's been years ago, and it's still everybody. I want a wave. I want the wave. Now that I've seen some that have the big flowers and some with the smaller
Right,
flowers.
they've got the newer ones, they call those, in the wave petunias, there's a shock wave. And that
That's
is
the
a
small one?
smaller bloom, and we do have those too.
I had a lot of my pots last year had the smaller ones.
Now, of course, they've come out with so many other, the super bells, the super petunias, there's million bells.
Super petunias?
Yeah, there's,
I like that.
there's million bells, which are the real tiny blooming looking petunias.
Okay, that's ready to go now.
Yes, they're ready to go. We'll lightly water them in, and
I'd like to see you water that from the top too.
yes.
Okay, let's go to the watering trough and
Okay.
take care of this. Okay, this is the watering area, and this is really soft, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it's a real light, the wand, it puts out a light water. You just want to lightly water everything. You don't want to get it too wet, because if you get things too wet, it takes so long for them to dry, and
Yeah,
you
these
usually
little-
end up killing something because you get it too wet.
These little things aren't going to drink a whole lot of water
No,
initially.
no.
They will when they get up bigger like
Exactly.
these over here.
Once they get more rooted in, yes, we'll have to literally be out here watering them twice a day. But as of right now, no. And one of the signs is, typically it just depends on the sunlight and the temperatures in here as to how often we have to water. A good rule of thumb, or I should say you use your pointer finger, and you stick down into this soil and check it, because sometimes it may look dry on top, but down in there it's wet.
I didn't think he put much water on there, but it's already down to the bottom. I see.
Right.
I thought I'd stick it in here and it'd be dry down in there, but it's not.
No, it's already,
Yeah.
it's soaked in there.
After 50 years of watering plants, he knew what exactly
Yes,
how much.
yes, you
Put in there.
definitely don't want to just drown them.
Right.
That's for sure.
Now I water from the bottom sometimes, but when you do that, you're probably going to get a lot of water in
Yes,
there. Too much almost.
Yes.
Even though that's more gentle, but that wand he had
That
there.
wand, he goes in here every year, and if not 3 times in just the growing season, he'll go out and change those wands, because they just get worn a little, and it'll come
stronger?
out harder. Yes, and so
That's a lot of
we've
water
got a whole
in there.
box full of those wands, and we change them out periodically, and it just gives a nice light mist. It's not hard on them at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the plants are delicate when they're first starting out.
And these are not as delicate as some.
No,
Some are really
exactly.
delicate.
Right. For instance, like the begonias here are delicate.
Yeah,
They're
they
very
used to be.
delicate.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And sticking that finger in there, and people ask me, how often do you have to water and what? And that
Use your
house
finger.
plants, whatever you're doing.
House plants, even plants that you plant in the ground, stick your hand down in there. If it's wet, don't water it. If it's dry on top,
need
that
it.
doesn't mean it's not wet down in there. And that's
Now,
a good way to check.
This is kind of off the subject a little bit, but when plants wilt, when they get real too dry, but that doesn't mean they're dying. It's just telling you
And
they
it
need
doesn't
water.
mean that even though they're wilting, doesn't mean that they're dry either. They can be too wet, and plants will wilt.
Okay.
If they're sitting in a lot of moisture, they'll wilt.
Okay, so if they wilt and you see moisture in there, don't water.
No, and and a lot of times, we'll get to a point that it's just kind of humid, the air's not moving around, and this is even stuff that you've got planted in the ground. Move that mulch back away so that the air can kind of get down to that dirt. And sometimes that will help.
Now that brings up another subject, air movement, and I notice we got the fans turned off right now because it's hard
Right.
on the microphones,
Right.
but you'll have air movement in here, and that
Constantly,
makes
yes.
stronger
We
plants.
we have it set at different temperatures for the fans to come on, or for the slats to open up, and to keep air moving through here, because you don't want to get too much humidity in here, because then you're going to have a lot of fungus, which we spray. We use soil that has a fungicide in it, and we do spray also for fungus, even though we don't see it, just to help control it.
And make stronger plants. And I saw Larry
Right.
earlier today spraying for bacteria, and I said, what in the heck's that got to do with anything
Yes.
at this? But then tells
But again, that bacteria, and there are some varieties of plants like impatiens are really getting bad about having bacteria. So we go through here and we spray to help control and to keep it from coming in.
And the bacteria spreads the funguses.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and it will go and it could take out quite a bit.
Okay,
Yes.
let's run up here to the
Okay.
seedlings. We
Yes.
we already got them planted, but let's go up here and look at some of the
Yes.
seedlings you guys planted.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, this is your seedlings where you started your seeds. They're not into the,
Yes.
not potted up yet.
Right.
Love these things. There's a lot of them that haven't even germinated yet
That's our tomatoes because we start those later because
Okay.
they come up so quick.
and grow fast.
So
yes.
we just literally, Dad started those last week. And as you can see, there's a few coming up, but there's a few that still haven't yet.
Yeah.
But believe me, they will. It doesn't take the tomatoes long at all.
I was gonna say, when I plant mine, I usually put some cellophane or something over top of them so they don't dry out before they germinate. But it looks like you don't have that problem
No,
here.
no, we don't. I mean, we keep everything lightly moist. Again, as we do
soft
with
spray.
with the soft spray, the real soft spray to keep everything moist.
And these, you said these are hollyhocks?
These are hollyhocks.
Something
yes.
new in the Sanders Nursery?
Yeah, well, Dad, we just decided to get some seed and see. Hollyhocks are an old-fashioned, very popular perennial, and you almost can't have enough of them. And we were able to get some seed, and we can sell them pretty cheap, and everybody can just buy them up.
Yeah.
And then we've got a bunch of herbs that we've got started, and of course peppers. And
You buy the seeds in bulk
yes, we do.
from a supplier that just sells
yes.
seeds. It's not those ones that get the catalogs.
No. And
Those are expensive. $5 a pack for seeds?
Right. Oh, we wouldn't be able to do it if it was that expensive.
no.
But no, we have a supplier that supplies to garden centers, and we're able to order that way and get things started.
Now, I see you broadcast these. You don't, in the cell packs, you put one or two seeds per cell. but
Right.
You just broadcast
And
these.
yes, like he's got one variety here, and he just lightly broadcasts
That's
it,
the
and
way I do
then
it.
lightly top it with some more soil, and then just keep them moist until they come up.
And the bad thing is planting them too deep, probably. If you plant them too deep, they
Right.
won't.
You very lightly cover
Yeah.
your seed once you've got it in there.
Yeah. Now they go from here. Some of these look like they're ready to be potted up.
Right. Those are ready to go.
I love those tomatoes. You can smell them. Oh,
And we've got our peppers. But of course, keep in mind, we started these peppers that first week of February.
This
is just
a month
how
and a
big-
half.
Right. They take so long to come up.
They
They've
take
got
over a
have
week to
warm-
germinate, don't they?
Longer than that. In
Yeah.
some instances, they've got to have good warm temperatures.
I know a guy that he says he gets them germinated in 3 days. He puts them on heating pads.
You've got to keep them hot.
I don't. That's
Yeah.
that's too much trouble for me.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I love these things. I got to come back a little later.
Yes.
And well, I might take some stuff with me today.
You should.
Yeah.
You should, or come out here and help us.
Okay, what's your address and how can they call?
Yes, we're at 4123 Schneidman Road, and they
Okay.
can give us a call at 270-443-8851.
Most everybody knows where you're at, and you get the mulch
sir.
and all the big plants, which we haven't had a
We've-
chance to even look at all the big stuff yet.
Right, and we do have some stuff we've wintered over, but we've got plant material starting to come in next week, and we'll be ready for
Maybe
spring.
we need to do another show next week.
Yes, because we will be packed full. We're changing out our lath house, and
Yeah.
we'll be
New
ready to
lath house,
go.
I guess.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for letting us
Thank
come into
you.
your
Thank
your
you. I
business
appreciate it.
And thank our viewers for tuning in. This is Master Gardening. I'm your host, Bud Qualk. Until next time, it's good gardening.